Gase upon your feline compagnon.
It is highly probable that your cat is currently immersed in a state of profound slumber. Whether it is basking languidly in a sunbeam upon the comfortable upholstery of your couch, or perhaps sprawled in a position of complete abandon across the very keyboard you utilize, it exists in a condition of absolute tranquility. A creature that projects an aura of peace, of gentle idleness, and of seemingly innocuous presence. Over the extensive span of several millennia, humanity has assiduously cultivated an idealized perception of this animal, portraying it as an independent yet demonstrably affectionate confidant, a living and breathing emblem of domestic felicity and contentment. However, it is precisely our inherent responsibility to engage in critical inquiry. We are compelled to pose the more challenging and often uncomfortable questions, and the one that looms with the greatest import is this: what if this meticulously constructed image represents nothing less than the most remarkably successful act of deception ever perpetrated in the grand tapestry of history? What if, concealed beneath the seemingly innocuous exterior of the plump, indolent creature that occupies your sofa, there resides an entity whose innate predatory instincts, formidable intelligence, and remarkable physical proficiencies have been, by our own admission, profoundly and systematically underestimated? We are formally initiating an investigation. The primary subject of our rigorous examination is the ubiquitous domestic feline, scientifically classified as Felis catus. The overarching objective of this endeavor is to meticulously disentangle the comforting, often idealized myths that have become inextricably woven into our understanding of these animals from the stark, unvarnished facts, which upon closer inspection, may prove to be quite unsettling indeed. Throughout the course of this comprehensive inquiry, we shall meticulously scrutinize a wealth of evidence and a variety of first-hand testimonies with the singular aim of providing a definitive answer to one profoundly simple, yet ultimately crucial question: to whom, or rather to what, are we truly sharing our living spaces? Prepare yourself, for the very first piece of evidence we shall present is guaranteed to fundamentally alter your perception of the everyday sounds that regularly permeate your auditory environment. Let us commence our examination with what is arguably the most readily apparent indicator of their presence: the ubiquitous vocalization known as the meow. We are exposed to this sound with a frequency that can easily reach dozens of instances within a single day. The cat articulates a meow when it desires sustenance. It issues a meow to emphatically request that a door be opened for its passage. It vocalizes a meow when it craves your attention, and as you might have surmised, the reason is invariably one of these. It is a logically defensible assumption to believe that this vocalization constitutes their inherent and natural method of interspecies communication. However, it is precisely at this juncture that our investigation encounters its inaugural conceptual paradox. Scientific observations conducted with meticulous care reveal that adult cats existing in their natural, untamed habitats virtually never engage in meowing when interacting with one another. Their sophisticated communication system is comprised of a complex repertoire of vocalizations, including sharp hisses, guttural growls, soft snorts, and an elaborate array of nuanced body language. Meowing, by contrast, is almost exclusively a sound associated with immaturity, a vocalization employed by very young kittens specifically to convey their needs and desires to their maternal figure. Yet, as soon as the kitten successfully transitions into adulthood, this particular sound virtually vanishes from its established adult vocal lexicon. This phenomenon persists with a single striking exception: the persistent meowing occurs with remarkable regularity when a human presence is detected. This observation logically leads us to formulate a compelling hypothesis that warrants rigorous testing. Is the act of meowing a uniquely developed and highly specialized communicative tool that felines have meticulously refined over the course of thousands of years of evolutionary development, precisely for the purpose of influencing and manipulating human behavior? Scientific research unequivocally supports this proposition. Esteemed scientists affiliated with Cornell University have, through their dedicated investigations, ascertained that the precise frequency range of a cat's pleading meow typically falls between 220 and 520 Hz. This sonic characteristic is astonishingly proximate to the fluctuating frequency range of a human infant's cry, which generally oscillates between 300 and 600 Hz. Our own neural pathways are intrinsically predisposed to respond to such sounds with an immediate sense of alarm and a powerful, innate inclination to provide assistance and care. It would appear, therefore, that cats have, with remarkable acumen, successfully deciphered the fundamental code of human empathy. They are not, in essence, conversing with us in a manner we readily understand. Rather, they are adeptly triggering a deeply ingrained, ancient caregiving instinct that resides within our very being. And, as empirical experience consistently demonstrates, this sophisticated strategy proves to be unfailingly effective. The subsequent piece of evidence that we shall present in support of our ongoing case pertains to the cat's extraordinary capacity for movement. A feline can seemingly materialize from absolute obscurity, appearing as if from nowhere. It can execute silent, graceful leaps onto elevated surfaces, such as kitchen cupboards, and subsequently descend to the floor with an utter absence of audible sound. Such movements create the distinct impression that the creature is in some way defying the fundamental laws of both gravity and acoustics. However, as with all aspects of our investigation, there is no recourse to supernatural explanations here, only the cold, hard, and highly logical manifestations of evolutionary adaptation and perfectly honed biomechanical design. We are, in effect, meticulously prying open the complex black box that constitutes its anatomical structure. The initial mechanism contributing to this pervasive conspiracy of silence is found within the intricate design of its paws. In stark contrast to the canine, whose terrestrial movements are invariably accompanied by the characteristic, audible click of its claws against various surfaces, the feline possesses the remarkable ability to conceal its formidable weaponry. Its claws are cleverly retracted into specialized, elastic skin pockets, emerging only at the precise moment of an offensive maneuver or when the animal requires enhanced traction for gripping a particular surface. However, the most critical piece of evidence in this regard lies in the composition and function of its paw pads. These are not merely soft and yielding appendages. They are, in fact, remarkably resilient structures that function as sophisticated, high-technology shock absorbers. Their primary purpose is to effectively dissipate both auditory vibrations and physical impact upon contact with any given surface, thereby ensuring an almost entirely silent approach. The second, and indeed even more astonishing marvel of feline engineering is the skeletal structure. In the case of human beings, the collarbones are firmly and immovably affixed to the shoulder joint, thereby establishing a robust and unyielding framework. Conversely, in a cat, the clavicle or collarbone is a minuscule, entirely unattached bone, completely independent of the remainder of its skeletal system. This ingenious feat of biological architecture bestows upon its shoulders an extraordinary degree of latitude and suppleness, enabling the creature to compress its ribcage with remarkable ease and to effortlessly navigate through any aperture through which its head can successfully pass. It is therefore hardly surprising that its whiskers, scientifically known as vibrissae, function as an integrated range-finding apparatus, flawlessly ascertaining the crucial information: am I able to fit or not? This capability is not a product of mere intuition. Rather, it represents the precise and calculated output of a sophisticated biological mechanism that appears to have artfully circumvented the fundamental laws of physics, all in pursuit of a singular objective: to achieve a state of utter invisibility. We now find ourselves on the precipice of investigating the most enigmatic of all feline phenomena, the act of purring. For any devoted human companion, this resonant sound is unequivocally interpreted as the ultimate signal of well-being. The cat is experiencing happiness, it feels secure, and all is demonstrably well in its world. This distinctive vibrating sound has, in the collective consciousness, become inextricably synonymous with a profound state of contentment. However, as is often the case in any complex and compelling investigation, the accounts provided by witnesses tend to diverge, and the accumulating evidence compels us to critically re-examine this seemingly straightforward interpretation. Veterinary professionals across the globe will readily corroborate a rather peculiar observation. Cats do not exclusively purr when they are experiencing positive emotions. They are observed to purr even when enduring severe physical pain, when gripped by intense fear, and, most remarkably, even during the very final moments of their earthly existence. This singular observation effectively demolishes the simplistic happiness hypothesis and compels us to seek out an alternative, a more profound and deeply rooted reason for this behavior. This line of inquiry has consequently led us to formulate and rigorously test a rather startling theory. What if the act of purring is not predominantly an outward expression of emotion, but rather a sophisticated biological instrument? Experts in the fields of physics and bioacoustics offer us a crucial key to unlocking this mystery. The precise frequency of a domestic cat's purr typically fluctuates within a range spanning from 25 Hz to 150 Hz. Furthermore, extensive biomedical research has conclusively demonstrated that it is precisely these low-frequency vibrations that possess a demonstrably therapeutic effect on living organisms. They actively promote the regeneration of tissues, effectively reduce levels of pain and inflammation, and are even capable of stimulating an increase in bone density. It is entirely plausible that this remarkable restorative capability might be the very origin of the enduring legend of 9 lives. Therefore, purring transcends the simple classification as mere sound. It is, in fact, a highly efficacious and remarkably low-cost self-healing mechanism. It functions as an inherent, built-in physiotherapy device that the cat actively engages to accelerate its recovery from physical injury or periods of significant stress. What we, in our limited understanding, perceive as a melodious expression of pleasure may, in reality, represent a complex and intricate internal repair program. Our comprehensive investigation has now reached its conclusion. We embarked on this journey with a simple, yet persistent, doubt concerning the universally familiar image of our domestic pet. Now, having meticulously examined all the pertinent evidence, we are fully prepared to render our definitive verdict. We have definitively established that the common vocalization known as the meow is not so much a form of genuine language, as it is a finely honed instrument designed for the deliberate manipulation of humans, effectively exploiting our most deeply ingrained instincts. We have conclusively proven that the cat's characteristic silence is not a matter of mere happenstance, but rather the direct consequence of intricate biomechanical adaptations, which collectively transform it into the quintessential invisible observer. Lastly, we have presented compelling evidence that purring is not simply a song of pleasure, but rather an intrinsic, self-healing mechanism, operating at specific frequencies that contemporary medical science is only beginning to thoroughly explore and comprehend. Every single fact that we have managed to uncover during the course of this investigation invariably points towards one singular, overarching conclusion. The creature that peacefully dozes upon our laps is an entity far more intricate and profoundly sophisticated than we have been accustomed to perceiving. It is not merely a pet. It is, in actuality, a highly efficient and remarkably capable organism possessing an array of extraordinary abilities, a secret and complex code of communication, and a hidden inner life about which we possess virtually no true understanding. The ultimate verdict of this thorough investigation is as follows. The case pertaining to the cat's dual and often concealed existence is now officially closed. The subject of our study has been unequivocally declared a veritable genius of disguise. We coexist alongside a creature that has artfully permitted us to believe ourselves to be its masters, but in light of all that we have learned, is this assertion truly accurate? After meticulously reviewing all the evidence, there exists substantial reason to harbor profound doubts regarding this perception. And perhaps, this very element of uncertainty is precisely the outcome they meticulously orchestrated from the very beginning.